Hey guys, this is Zach. Wanted to jump here at the top of the episode. There's been a lot going on over the last week with the unjust killing of George Floyd really setting off a wave of protests against the well-documented and historic fact of police brutality and disproportionate murders in the black community. That is something that has deeply impacted Adam and I. We want to listen. We want to find ways that we can to help change this. And we want to help out however we can. So what we're going to do is we are pledging our Patreon dollars for the month of June to the Advancement Project. It's a fund for radical justice, specifically impacting the black community in issues that cause disproportionate impacts on things like criminalization, on things like how our policing is handled, on things like criminal justice reform, things that can help on a wide scale. And we are encouraging you guys to do the same. There's some incentives that we have, and we can talk about that at the end of the episode. There's links in the show notes. Please, consider as you go through this, that if you have the funds, if you have the ability, consider donating today. Beyond that, we're going to do the rest of the episode as more or less normal. If you don't want a couple of people being goofy about X-Men for an hour right now, I hear you. I don't blame you one bit. So it can wait. If you do need that, it's here for you. Take care, guys. Stay safe.
X-Men. Get it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your weekly X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to Z.
I'm Vampire Adam.
And I'm regular human Zach. And Adam, you're a vampire now.
I know, man. I really am very limited in the amount of garlic I can use in my cooking, and I do not like it. You think there's anybody out there that could, help me with this whole turning into a vampire situation? It's really not great.
Yeah, well, we figured that. I got real concerned. I'm not gonna lie, folks. After Adam's escapades, let's say, with Vlad Dracula, I did want him to be taken care of, and I thought about a stake to the heart. Just cry as I do it, but you just push it right on through. And I said, you know what? No. We can find a better way for this.
I appreciate that. That's not what's happening tonight. Thank you.
It was my first thought. Let's be clear. Instinct was, well, he's got to go.
Oh, man, that's terrible. It's
it
terrible.
Is.
There's got to be a better way.
There is a better way, and that's why we have brought in world-famous Shatterstar-ologist and... you may know this, but vampire expert Charlie Davis to join us today. Charlie, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I am a little concerned about the disease that Adam has
Disease? I'm just handsome and stuck with my mustache till I die. I don't know if that's a disease.
You know that you can shave it off even if you're a vampire, right?
Oh, I didn't know.
I think it grows back like Wolverine's hair, though. I think it doesn't matter what he does now. It's gonna come back immediately.
I mean, this might be maybe this is a different strain of vampirism than I'm used to, but I mean...
how many strains are there, Charlie?
Okay, so there's two distinct strains.
Okay.
One, just like the vampires that you see in Twilight, the sparkly ones.
Right, the Cullens.
Yes, and two...
They, like our X-Men, do play baseball.
Correct. Two, the bad ones from Blade.
Oh, you're talking about the Daywalker?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't tried sparkling in the daytime yet.
I don't think you want to go outside in the daytime, Adam. I'm sorry.
No, I've been avoiding it.
You were
Lots
living...
of big
Have
hats.
you tried blood raves?
No. I don't even
All
know where I
right.
would find one.
Well, I don't think that's sanitary right now anyway, so you're probably in
No.
luck.
Again, he's a vampire. He's fine. But do you know who's not fine?
Who's not fine, Zach?
Not fine is Patreon supporter HyperViper89, which I assume is named after a drink that, Charlie, you were telling us about?
Yeah, so in the bygone era, before there were four logos, there used to be called Sparks energy drinks. They were orange flavored, and they were alcoholic. And what you do is you get a King Cobra 40. I don't know if you're familiar, but you should be.
I am.
And then you buy one of those bad boys, and you drink it down to the label. And then you crack open your Sparks energy drink, and you pour it. You fill the rest up to the top. And there you go. Adam, I don't think that is a cure for vampirism, but we could try it.
Oh, thank God. I really don't want my heart to just, like, eject out of my body. And
It's not beating anyway, so...
No, that's true. That's a good
Yeah.
point. But for viewers, listeners at home, don't try that. I mean,
No, that's a strict... I'm going to my... the thing that plays before and after every wrestling pay-per-view. Don't try this at home.
Don't try that one at home.
That said, I assume HyperViper89 has tried this at home several times, and that's why they went over to patreon.com/XavierFiles and said, y'all, I wanted you to talk about X-Force 44.
Is that one where Sam leaves the X-Force and joins the X-Men?
Yeah, Sam graduates to being the X-Men. He doesn't know this yet. This is right smack out of the Age of Apocalypse. Jeff Loeb, who you may know from Marvel's Cloak and Dagger, or Marvel's Daredevil, or Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or, Marvel's
Stuff.
Inhumans.
I was going to say Marvel's Inhumans.
The Long Halloween, I guess. Also Romulus, also Red Hulk. Also Ultimatum. Jeff Loeb, bud, you got a career.
It's a great resume.
He's trying his best. Who are we to judge?
Joined by Adam Polina here on art. How are we feeling about Adam Polina?
I love Adam Polina.
Hey, Adam Polina rules.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rules.
It's a very interesting art style that I don't think we've come across on this show yet.
It can be... I feel like, and correct me if you feel differently, I love Adam Polina's art, but I can also super tell when he is rushed.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's just so expressive in such an interesting way. Like the way he draws facial expressions and body language, and it's wild. It's not the kind of style that I'm used to seeing in an X book, and I think it's really neat.
It's good.
It's very different coming from Tony Daniel, who was the series artist before this.
Oh yeah.
Goes over to Age of Apocalypse, has a little bit of a shakeup, and we come out, and it's Adam Polina, and I think it's a very interesting turn for the team.
Yes, and
sure.
So, Charlie,
I like... Yes, go ahead, Zach.
I was gonna say you are a big fan of X-Force, especially X-Force of this era.
Yes.
Can you tell us what this comic is? What happens in this one?
Okay, so what happens in this one is we somehow pick right up in media res after the Age of Apocalypse with... Man, that was so stop and start at this point. Like, obviously...
Talking about Rainfire?
Yeah, we're talking about Rainfire. Like, this goes off of the... This goes off of the assumption that you remember what happened for the Age of Apocalypse.
Were you paying attention?
Yeah, and then did you pause for a really long time and then just come back? But in this specific comic, X-Force comes together because Cable is discussing the nature of their team going forward. So basically, what's going to happen now? It's very, very much a team reset issue where they kind of just spend a lot of time talking to one another, but that's good. Like in the vein of like X-Force 19, like you need those every once in a while before you like hop off onto a new thing. And it's basically just the team trying to figure out what Cable behind closed doors is talking to Professor X about. They all assume that it's because X-Force is going to like just break up and cease to exist, which, valid concerns. But through that, because of that, you get a lot of really nice quiet scenes with each of the team members because they are kind of contemplating the fact that, like, hey, we spent all this time together, like, you're my family now, like, what happens if we do break up and we're not a team anymore? So through that vessel we get this really quiet, good, really, like, nice issue, and then at the end it's, you know, Cable comes out and says, oh, we're gonna do things a little differently. We're not gonna be so murdery. We're gonna be more of a team. And then some people decide, like, hey, I don't want you in my head, Cable, and leave the team, like Richter.
We're gonna get to him. I know you could talk about Richter for a while, but he's gonna get his own spotlight in just a minute.
Yes.
Spoiler alert. What interactions do you like in this? Because I really like, especially the stuff with Boom Boom, and I guess she's going by Boomer now, because why? Boomer and Shatterstar, they have a really good dynamic in this, and I like that a lot.
I love their dynamic in the issues of X-Force, like, after Rick leaves. So basically from this point going forward, her and Shatterstar have this really good dynamic where, like, she kind of confides in him about stuff. You kind of start to see it here with, like, the way that they're talking before they see Sabretooth, who is still in the danger room, ?
I was going to mention, we cannot not talk about the Sabretooth centerfolds, which is like a 2-page spread of Sabretooth in a Speedo lounging with nature and little cute bunnies.
He did get brain stabbed by Wolverine right before this. So he's in his happy place. Ethically, probably not the best thing Wolverine's ever done, but right now Sabretooth is just chilling.
Yeah, and Tabby sees him, and this kind of really small nugget of information or, like, scene kind of will lead into where some of the stories are going next in X-Force. And
in X-Men in general.
Yeah, and it's a nice little preview of, like, Shatterstar and Tabby's relationship, because it, you know, when she makes these decisions that she will going forward, and you see it a little here, Star's kind of the only one that, like, has her back. It's like, no, you gotta decide for yourself, like, about what you want to do. And it's really sweet, and I love it.
We also get reintroduced to Caliban, who joins the team in this issue. Still looking kind of Executioner song-y, but
he's a big boy.
Yes.
It's big boy season, and Caliban is in shape for it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, you already have Jimmy there, who's questioning his sort of identity as Warpath, and
he did just get a haircut, to be fair.
He did.
Yeah, but he's like, the resident big guy on the team, and, like, if you go back to the original X Factor, late New Mutants, he's drawn as, like, this mammoth thing, and then here comes Caliban, who's like a head taller than him. It's funny.
They just need bigger boys. It started with Cable, and Cable was a big boy, and then Warpath, he's a bigger boy than Cable, and now Caliban, he's the biggest boy there.
And they're all going to wear purple.
Yep.
They are all... I like the purple.
I do too.
Hold on. I think the purple's good.
I'm not criticizing.
It's very good. It's, like, it depends on how you... I guess whether or not you like these costumes, which you should like them because they're very good, depends on probably how much you like yellow.
I think the one piece of costuming from this era that I'm not a huge fan of is expanding upon the Cyclops suspender. The single suspender from the Jim Lee era, and then just, like, Sunspot's got a double pouchy one across his chest. Sam has
shirtless
that
chest.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Sam has the same kind of look. Cable has the same kind of look. It's not my favorite.
Caliban's got his, and it's the same one as the ones that are going on everyone else's chests, but it is on his bicep.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Star's got one on his leg.
Yeah.
Very good.
Not sure about...
He's flexible, though. He can get that.
I think I know it's me saying this. Take it with a grain of salt. But I think Star is one of the people outside of maybe Tabitha that look the best in these purple outfits.
Tabby's is the best.
Big time. Star
hers
also
really
gets, and as our resident Shatterstarologist, Charlie, you could probably explain this. Shatterstar has a red eye mark now instead of a black one. Like he starts the issue with the black one and then later in the issue it's red. Do we have any canonical explanation for how that changed? Is it makeup? Is it...
We have no canonical explanation. It is simply a coloring problem that persists through the next, I don't know.
I think it looks great. I'm just curious.
Years of issues. No, it's a lot like Star's eye color. It tends to just fluctuate depending on who's coloring him, and I'm not so sure why it's all of a sudden red. And unfortunately, I don't even have like my own canon explanation for this one. Just because sometimes I forget that it is also red in some random issue.
I only ask as someone who's angered the Marvel database editors within the last 24 hours by suggesting that perhaps things in the Marvel handbooks or the Marvel database might not always be canonical, and like got people yelling at me about it. So that was fun.
They are canonical, but they're a specific level of canonical. So. Do you remember how Star Wars used to have a whole universe?
Yes.
And then they got rid of everything?
I do.
Yes.
There was different levels of canon in that universe. There was the G canon, which was the George Lucas canon, which was, if that happened, then it's true. Then there was the T canon, which was the television canon, which was, well, this happened on a TV show, but we can hand wave it out of the way if we have to. Then there was the C canon, which was like, hey, they wrote this in a book somewhere once, and we're going to ignore it if we have to. And this is that.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if this quite lives up to, the comparison that you made earlier, Charlie, to X-Force 19, which is the post-Executioner song episode where Sam kind of redefines what X-Force is. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this quite lives up to that, but it is a really fun start to the new wave of the team that's sort of the new status quo.
Well, what isn't new, though, Adam, before you get too excited...
I always do this.
You always do it. You always do it. We've been doing this show for 148 episodes before now. What? You should know. Because in those 148 episodes, we have ranked 375 comic books.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, with the number one story being the Dark Phoenix Saga... Our number 100 story being The End of Greys, the 200 story being Madrox, the 300th story being, which one is that? Oh, X Factor Judgment War. And the worst story on our list, and of all time ever, is the Draco. Here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at, because we've got a good amount of X-Force on here. Mm-hmm. At our number 164 is the first arc of the road trip era for X-Force.
Yes.
And I think this is not as good as that. But then, all the way down at 279, we have Adam X the Extreme is back and things have never been deadlier. And this is better than that.
Oh, yes. For sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got a wide berth. What's at 200 again? It was Madrox. Hey, Charlie, you like X Factor and X Factor adjacent stuff. How do you feel about this compared to Madrox?
They are extensively coming from two different, like, it's just like, that's like the Romeo and Juliet of like, hey, what do you think about these two things that are very different? It's hard to compare those two things because they're kind of like apples and oranges. This is very much coming from like this like place of, and not to say that, Madrox isn't good because I like it, but this is like coming from more of, for me, a place of like warmth, like the X-Men coming together or X-Force coming together and being like, even if they're having a hard time, obviously by the end of this, they're coming together and like being a family, and it feels so Madrox and anything X Factor investigations seems a lot colder to me. So
oh yeah, big time.
So for me, I would pick this to revisit, even though the other is a little bit obviously more polished.
I'm fine with that.
Now, of course, what's right above that is the Wolverine cocaine arc, which...
Why do we always end up here?
I mean, it is.
Yeah. I agree. I think this is better than the Madrox miniseries, but I don't know if I could put it above cocaine.
I think I could put it above cocaine.
I think I could too.
Is it better than To Protect and to Serve, which also kind of has a heartwarming vibe to it with the Annalay and Rockslide stuff?
Very similar vibes, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Here's where I'll say my ceiling is on this, looking around. Number 194 is the Neil Adams Savage Land arc, where Sauron's there.
Yep.
I think that is definitely better. Right below that is Deadpool the Circle Chase, and there I'm on the fence. And then right below that is Uncanny X-Men 391, that story where Scott Summers and Corsair have a father-son moment.
Well,
I think this is better than that, and I'm debating on the Circle Chase for me personally.
I still surprise myself by how much I enjoyed the Circle Chase. I thought it was really fun. Fabian Nicieza X-Force nonsense. So I think I would put that ahead of this. But I agree, it's better than Dad.
So number one.
No offense, real Dad, who doesn't listen to the show.
Yeah, my real dad has listened before, and I keep telling him, Pops,
You don't have to do that.
Don't worry about it.
You won't enjoy this.
Right, you will not understand a word of it.
This isn't for you. Oh well. It's good. It's good that he supports stuff when he tries. This is number 196 on our list. It's X-Force Purple Era, number 44. Now let's go to like literally the next story in this. Because it follows up right on this. So, Charlie, you had mentioned that Julian Esteban Richter does leave the team.
Yep.
So where's he go?
He decides that he is going to go see his family, which he doesn't really like. But I think he likes the idea of it more than sticking around and having Cable figure out whatever is in his brain that he doesn't want Cable to know.
And what is it that he doesn't want Cable to know? Because I'm pretty sure it's nothing.
Well, I understand that he does have this thing about telepaths being in his brain, and I think it actually has a lot to do with like his like trauma from being I don't know, like kidnapped when he was 14 years old and tortured, and maybe like just don't do that. But anyway.
Yeah, he did get a good mohawk out of that. He
did.
Let's not forget.
Yeah. Rick's got some trauma. He has a hard time processing, and when he has a hard time processing, he lashes out. So this is one of those times. But
you know, when he's lashing out, I feel like he just needs a big blue dad to come and cuddle him and hold him and tell him everything's going to be all right.
He doesn't, but that's cool.
Don't anger Charlie.
I'm here to save Adam's life. So his life is technically in my hands, so he may want to walk back.
That's right. We're doing that bit still.
But regardless of whether or not Rick is also having trauma responses and what he's doing currently in Excalibur,
which is a good comic and you should read it.
Correct. I cover it when we have comics. But Rick is upset, so he decides he wants to go, and he decides he wants to fly home to Mexico and go to the airport, and that's exactly what this issue is. So Cable 22, or as I like to call it, the sad airport issue.
Yes.
I'm updating. I just had it called the airport, and now I'm calling it the sad airport issue. That's so good.
That's great. I mean, in Richter's defense, the idea in the last... We didn't mention this when we just talked about that X-Force issue, but the idea that Cable just kind of, calls all the team into the office of Professor X and is like, yeah, by the way, we're all going to be telepathically linked now, and I'm going to know what's going on in all of your brains. I mean... I don't know. I would appreciate that very much. So I can kind of get behind Richter on this. And we're also reintroduced in this issue of Cable to Renee Mashcombe from Genosha.
Yes.
Who's trying to get in or out. Where is she going? She's coming in, right?
Correct. There are protests at the airport when Rick and Star arrive because Star has requested that he go with Rick to the airport because, of course.
Because they love each
exactly.
other.
What else? Why else did you go with your friend to the airport other than to tell him?
Well, lots of reasons,
I
honestly. There's a lot of reasons to take your friend to the airport. Mostly they need to go to the airport.
Well, I think we do need to contextualize this because we are in an era here where you could literally walk your loved one to the gate and wave goodbye or press your hand.
This is 1995.
Press your hand up against the glass and look lovingly as they fly away to Mexico. That's what's happening here.
Yeah.
That is what's happening in this comic that Jeff Loeb also writes with Ian Churchill on the pencils.
Yes. It's pretty straightforward an issue. It doesn't do a lot. It doesn't do a lot of plot things, but I like that they're there, because it also, like the last issue of X-Force, kind of like pushes us forward into where we're going to be after this. So obviously Rick's leaving. Star goes with him to the airport. You know, Cable and Domino are also there. There's a protest at the airport because this lady from Genosha is coming, and there are people that don't want mutants at the airport. So they have signs, and one of them has my favorite mutant, like, thing to put on signs, which is Gene Joke. That's just a good one. That's
I want to be very clear here. We are pro-protesters, not pro these specific, very racist protesters.
Correct.
In fact, the opposite,
Yeah, these are the bad ones.
And they are being agitated by our good friends. Who are the Genoshan guys that are after? The one guy that can, like, zap you through a phone.
Pipeline and Tank?
Yeah.
Yes, Pipeline is there.
From the press corps?
Yeah.
He is ready to zap you through the internet.
Yeah,
with
and
his
so you end up
AOL
naked on the other
subscription.
side. Yep.
It doesn't work out well for them because Cable and Shatterstar and Domino do, save the day. Hey, can we talk about one thing in this issue?
The swords?
Yeah, can we talk about how Shatterstar tries to bring some swords into the airport?
Yep.
Because he's a collector.
Yep. This is probably where, and like this probably cemented how much I love Shatterstar. This one scene with this guard at the airport where he's like, hey, excuse me, what do you have? And he's like, oh, these are my swords. And he like nonchalant.
These are my large katanas.
Yeah, he nonchalantly says it like it is the, like, why wouldn't I bring these with me?
Right.
And it is really good.
If I keep them in the case, what could be the problem?
Exactly. And then Rick is like already agitated. Like it's just it's like a very good like sliver of their dynamic. Like Star's trying to do this like outrageous thing that obviously you wouldn't ever think about doing, and Rick's just like, stop. Leave it alone. Like, it's okay. Don't do this. And
right.
It leads to this, like, I don't know how you could ever look at this issue and be like, oh yeah, those two guys are just friends. Because Star literally begs Rick not to leave. Because he won't know what to do if he goes. And it sucks. Like, that Rick just leaves, and mostly, like, you can kind of read into that he's, like, running, he's running away, but he's also running away from kind of his feelings for Star. That's how I've always kind of interpreted it. Like,
You aren't wrong.
Yeah, he's so hesitant to go, but, like, he just doesn't know how to deal with it, so he's gonna go. And it leads to this, like, really sad scene where Star's at the window, like, watching Rick board the plane and fly away, and he's got his, like, hand pressed against the glass, and it also, like, leads to this, like, really sweet moment with Domino and Cable where they're like, hey, Star, do you want to ride back? It's real good.
Yeah.
People forget that Domino and Cable have a heart, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the entire next arc of this book is Domino getting to be really sad. Like, they are good characters, actually. They are more than just very large guns on very big boys.
Yeah, and it goes, like, further than that. Like, you see Star, who's this, like, perfect warrior who always anticipates what's happening next in battle and never gets frustrated. Like, you've obviously seen some of that fall away, like, up to this point. But in this issue, like, Star gets, like, shot in the leg. like, he messes up because he's not focused on the job. And, like, it's like such a little character thing, but I love it. It's good.
Yeah, this is a good one. Adam, any thoughts on this one?
I mean, it just turns what could have been a very, like, silly issue into something that's pretty emotionally resonant, you know? I am not a huge fan always of Churchill's artwork here, but I don't know. I like the scenario. It's in a location that we don't always see in an X-Men comic. I'm thinking of, like, Generation X #1 has a scene in an airport. But it's a good setting for this particular setup, and I like it quite a bit.
I do too. I know Charlie does. So I'm going to throw out an issue that I think that this is better than.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me how you feel. And Charlie, let's not bring numbers into this. Let's just bring feelings into this.
I'm here for that.
We have, Adam, just a few spots from where you have highlighted, and I will highlight it just so Charlie doesn't see numbers. All new Wolverine at number 109. Charlie, don't listen to that part. Number 109. I think this is better than all new Wolverine. That's number 7. That's the one where Squirrel Girl gives Wolverine a pet Wolverine named Jonathan.
Yeah,
and they investigate squirrel crime.
I am good with that. Now I'm working my way up and looking at what's kind of like right in the realm of this.
I know where my ceiling is too, and I think it's going to be yours.
All right, my ceiling here is Captain America 367. I think
that's the time that Magneto threw Red Skull into a hole, right?
It is. And right below that is Astonishing Spider-Man and Wolverine, which is a really fun, goofy time travel thingy that is a little bit uneven, but it's fun at the same time. But Murder at the Mansion's there too. I think
this is probably better than right below Murder at the Mansion, which is Generation X 18 and 19, For the Sake of the Children, which is a good Emma Frost story.
Yeah.
But I think this has more emotional resonance than that.
I'm with you on there. I think that's
the one where Emma can't cook, which is a very believable
and understandable, right?
But she's trying.
Sure. Aren't we all when we cook?
That's all that
We're all
matters.
trying.
No, I'm a good cook. I'm a really good cook, actually.
I am too.
No one asks me about my cooking.
I am also.
All right, so that makes it our new 106.
It's going. It is going right under Murder at the Mansion, isn't it?
That's a good spot for it, though.
Yeah,
Murder at the Mansion. Pretty.
You can't
good.
see me, but I'm giving a 2 thumbs up.
Ooh, I appreciate that, Charlie.
Oh, good.
We're gonna stop talking about the purple era now. Hey, I got a question though. While we're here, have these issues provided any sort of inspiration, any sort of idea on how we could heal Adam of his vampirism besides making him sadly watch from an airport?
Yes, but I want to think about it because I'm thinking about it in the realm of comic books. And just what we do.
We're in the realm of real podcast, real life.
Yes.
Thank you very much. This is all canon, no kayfabe.
I am the immortal undead here. I do need solutions.
Okay, I understand that, and I'm
willing to give you time.
And I want you to understand when I tell you after we look at this, like what I need for all of us to do, because it's going to be a group effort, Adam. I want everyone to put their all into it. I think it'll be a little simpler than maybe what you're thinking, but I think we can work through it. But it is going to take some tremendous teamwork.
I really appreciate that.
You know what else takes tremendous teamwork?
Road trips.
Road trips?
I was going to say forming a collective society in the middle of the desert for several days as you do many shrooms.
Yes.
Whew.
You got to trust people if you're going to do that. That's for damn sure.
My goodness. It sounds like you're talking about this festival I've heard about, Colossal Man?
Yes, Colossal Man. It does happen in the desert every year. There's a very large man, and they set him on fire.
Oh, my God.
What was that?
And X-Force went there once.
That's right.
As long as they didn't go to the, what was that one that happened on the island where it was didn't really happen?
Oh,
Where
the
people
fire
went there?
festival?
Yeah, as long as it's not that, I think we're okay.
Please let
Hey,
there be a fire festival joke in some Krakoan capacity in the near future. That'd
Hey,
be
I'm gonna
great.
be real. Roberto da Costa did go to Fire Fest.
You're not wrong.
There's
Hold
no way
on.
he
He
didn't. He's
financed
living
it, but he didn't attend.
No, he didn't. You think Bobby DaCosta, the man who got tired of fighting supervillains, so he bought them. You think that he wouldn't be like, oh, I've got to live up this influencer lifestyle and go to Firefest. Ja Rule's there.
Oh my god.
I think he could do better. I think he probably blew up his Instagram advertising for it with high-priced models and then maybe did a flyover in his private jet and said, yo, that looks like a mess.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty accurate too.
Well, the world will never know.
Nope.
Because comics don't exist anymore. Also, that joke would be oddly dated.
Oh, yeah, at this point.
It's dated now that we're saying it out loud on a podcast in the year of our Lord 2020.
Oh, man. You know what else is kind of dated? I mean, like, you don't really hear about Burning Man all that much anymore. I think they still do it, correct?
I assume they're not doing it during the Rona times.
I hope not.
I looked at I looked at the year on this bad boy when I was reading it, and I was like, okay,
Burning Man 2020 has been canceled. I just want to be clear.
Okay, thanks for informing us.
Phew.
Along with life itself.
I was worried.
Hold on, wait a minute. Put a little love in it. Hold on, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
I'm on BurningMan.org,
And?
looking at the guide to Black Rock City.
Yeah.
Okay. Feel free to share it anytime.
I am not making this up. This is verbatim.
Here we go.
Burning Man 2020 will take place in the virtual multiverse. To get involved in building our virtual Black Rock City, check out this form.
Oh my god. That's adorable.
You can attend
The
Burning Man in
virtual
VR.
multiverse.
Oh boy.
Y'all, shut the front door. Hold on, I'm sending you a link.
We're all attending.
Hey, do you
Yo,
think the Rona is like how we get like all the virtual stuff that happens in like the future? Like, is this
Maybe.
is that how that happens? Okay.
Wow. Ooh, I got the link.
Guys, click on this link and see this Grant Morrison multiverse map ass looking stuff.
What is this?
Wait, it wants me to know my name. I don't know if I'm comfortable with
This is Burning Man 2020.
What is this?
It exists online. They can burn together only digitally instead of in the dust on the virtual Palea. There are no limits to who can join, so let's do this together.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I'm not actually filling this out because we have to do our own podcast. Y'all go to the Burning Man website to find that out. We're not going to put it in the links, show notes, because we're putting good, important things in there, and I do not want to
do
mix
this
that
Burning
up
Man.
with-
Do this Burning Man thing on your own time.
Going to the Burning Man virtual multiverse website is your reward for doing good things later. Can we talk about how X-Force goes to a very real Burning Man that does not take place in the virtual multiverse?
No, this is a real deal, man. I mean, they
Yeah.
call it Colossal Man, but it is 100% they're at Burning Man.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you say that, but I would wager, because of the way that they talk about the people who are at Burning Man. Mm-hmm. And I looked at the date on this bad boy. Like I said, it's 1997. Wish we could go back. It was 1997, and I thought maybe this was like obviously Burning Man, but like kind of a weird riff on also Woodstock, but also Lollapalooza.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of everything. You know, it's got some tinges of like rave culture in it.
Yeah.
And, you know, it is interesting. But what works about it is it's a great setting for all of these characters to kind of just have this, these really interesting character interactions with one another based upon their reactions to what happens there. They run into Sean.
Ooh, can I say something real fast about this?
Oh, please do. Please do.
Not into the highly fashionable jeans with the underwear pulled up all the way look that was happening at the end of the 90s, which Shan is also rocking here. Just had to throw that out.
Hold on. Yes, but look. We have not seen Sean in a while. Sean has buzzed pink hair.
Yes.
A crop top baby doll shirt. Mm-hmm. And is there with her 2 girlfriends.
Yes.
Documentary filmmakers who don't know if she's a mutant or not.
Yeah.
One of them knows, one of them thinks.
Everything you just said there is great, but I'm just saying underwear over pants, bad choice.
I'm just saying that Sean was really finding herself in that moment, and she made some decisions.
Correct.
It seems more like an artistic choice by a male artist than it does necessarily the character decision of.
Are you talking about male artist Adam Polina, who draws this? And we have been the worst on credits. JFM, John Francis Moore, does the writing on this one, by the way.
Yes, and this is. Did we even say what issue this was? This is X-Fore 75.
We got really into it, guys.
75.
We got really into that virtual space.
We got ahead of ourselves with Burning Man Online. So Siren's uncomfortable. Jimmy's kind of again still figuring himself out because he just died.
He did just die. Yes.
Very, very interesting developments with Boom Boom and Roberto, which I did not like.
Oh, they do a smooch.
They do a kiss.
Okay.
They do a kiss.
Yes.
Okay. I think we should address each of these individually. I love the interactions with Warpath and Moonstar. With Jimmy and Danny.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's so good. One, you get 2 native characters who kind of look at each other and say, I guess we've never hung out, have we?
And you just died.
Both of us have Star as the last part of our name. They weren't really creative when they made us, right?
Yeah.
Man, they really want us to be warriors, but I kind of just want to chill. Like, it's okay if I don't want to be, like, a super diehard warrior man, right? And it's a really good moment between Jimmy and Danny, and it's why Jimmy's one of my favorite of this cast. He gets a lot of moments where he gets to show a level of fragility and a level of like just not knowing what his path should be in life that I really like. Mm-hmm. And Danny gets to be she gets to be Danny Moonstar, and that's nice too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
No, Jimmy's always been one of my favorites, and that's why it's always like so boringly regressive to put him back in a place where he is like giant murder man.
I was just gonna say that.
To be fair, the last time they did that to him, he was also reading sloppy grocery store romance novels at the same time.
Yes, so I wasn't actually thinking of the newest iteration of X-Force that we had, because I actually there was a reason for that. Because I mean, Cable, he was trying to avenge Cable, and so sometimes you just sink back into the things that you are good at in order to do that. I get it. Started the same thing. I thought those were good character pieces, but there are points where people just put him in that role, and that's just the way he is. Cough, uncanny, X-Force, cough.
Cough. He wasn't in Uncanny X-Force. You're thinking of the adjectiveless X-Force run that came right before that.
Yeah, it's not good.
Cough.
It's not good. Either way you slice it.
I mean, we have it on this list somewhere. Anyway, we're gonna move on from that.
So how are both of you feeling about this whole idea of Boom Boom and Sunspot? Just kind of, well, she's not Boom Boom now, right? What is she now?
Meltdown.
She's Meltdown.
Yeah, Meltdown.
So this is after Boom Boom, after Boomer, before Dr. Madam Explode.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And before she just went by Tabby, which was Tabitha, because everyone made fun of her nicknames. And she's like, well, I'm not going to have a nickname anymore. And Warren Ellis in the letter column was, it's because she's not very smart. Boom Boom's the best nickname in the world.
It is.
I
great.
love Next Wave. I know you've got problems with it, Charlie, and I hear you, and I feel you, and we both love Tabby, but it's very good, actually. We cannot... People ask me, we can't rank it on this show. No one requests Next Wave. We're not doing it.
Yeah,
it would too largely imbalance the list.
I really love Tabby. Like, I think Tabby is a great character. I almost feel like this thing with Roberto is here because Sam gets here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, triangle.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I think it's partly that. I think it's partly because, well, Sam's also just not been in the book for 3 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it's partly because they have had a good dynamic near the end of the Purple era and at the start of the road trip era. So I like to think that Moore was playing into that and seeing how them as a friendship evolves into something else, even if it ends up kind of fluttering out near the end. I think it works. I think it's interesting.
For what it is, yeah, it definitely like gets it works, and I know it's not like I don't really. There's only one couple I care about staying together in comics. And
right. Apocalypse and his little boy.
Stop it.
I'm gonna. Adam needs my help. I don't have to be here, Zachary.
That's fair.
But I think for what it is, it totally does work. Sam gets that big return pop for Sam, who hasn't been here in a very long time. I think it's a very nice coming together issue.
We didn't even mention the fact that Selene shows up. There's some
right.
Asgardian nonsense that
happening.
makes the actual literal Burning Man come to life and start running across the desert.
As the Destroyer, yeah.
It's so cool.
What's also very good is that Cable has been there the whole time because he's like tracking Selene or
A
something.
very scrawny Cable. Why is he so skinny?
Because that's what 1998 Cable looked like, brother.
Yeah.
It's so weird, like reading Cable 22, where like Churchill draws him as big as a bus, and seeing this version of him where I was like, wait a minute, is that X-Man?
I thought it was for half a second too, and then I remembered, no, he doesn't go here.
Right.
Yes. I like it because Cable's like, well, I should help. No, they got this.
Yeah.
It looks like I did okay because they had just essentially abandoned him 5 issues beforehand.
I'm gonna pat myself on the back
because he wanted them to fake their deaths.
Cable has.
And they said, nah.
Cable has some
we're not
traditionally
doing that.
bad ideas about things. See let's have a mental connection at all times. Previously.
Yeah, not a great idea, Cable.
He's a bad teacher.
Yeah, good dad.
But good
bad,
enough.
Yeah, good dad, bad teacher. That's it.
He was good enough that they were able to figure out what they were doing. And he like sits back and is like, okay, I did this one right.
Hey,
This one was good. Those kids know what they need to.
Yeah.
And he goes off into the desert.
And
I like it.
All the X-Force young adults, to me, have always been more emotionally mature than a lot of other like kids in X books or young adults in X books.
Or adults in X books a lot of the time, let's be real.
I think, frankly, they're extremely well adjusted for all the trauma that they've been through.
Incredibly.
Yeah, they do pretty well for themselves. And this is when I think of the road trip era and really John Francis Moore's run as a whole. This is the stuff I think about because it's fun, it's funny, the action beats are strong, and it's got a heck of a lot of heart to it. Like, the character beats in this are so good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Also, the Polina art's super pretty. I like Adam Polina, especially as he gets deeper into his X-Force run like he is now.
Yeah. He really hits his stride. Obviously, all the characters have moments, and this issue's like extra big size. So there's a lot of content here. The fact that I almost forgot about the fact Selene shows up and there's an semi-Asgardian plot going. going on. Said something about the rest of the character work that like that was a secondary thought. Like the big like thing really didn't register in my brain. No, it's good. I like the characters that I love like are obviously not in this book. I would have loved to see them in a situation like this, but alas. But what's here is great.
It is. Now, I think this is better than number 165, which is the start of the X-Fore road trip era.
I agree.
Any objections on that one?
No.
Didn't think so.
Not at all.
I don't think this is as good as one... sorry, I lost my thing. Oh, that's really high, actually. Now I'm actually trying to think of where. Is this... Oh, this is actually a really good comparison. Is this better than number 149, which is Uncanny X-Men 245, Men? Which is a very similar people hanging out issue.
This is better.
I think this is better than that, but not... I don't think it's as good as Uncanny 230. 'Twas the Night Before.
I could see myself going either way there. I think we're in the right spot.
How about 146? Is this better than New Mutants Annual number 1?
I think that's my hard line. I don't think it's
I
better
don't
than New
either.
Mutants Annual number
I
1.
don't either. And we've got an Amazing Spider-Man issue below that.
That's the one where Iceman and Spider-Man team up to take down a corrupt mayor
Yeah.
or mayoral candidate.
Which is fun. Yeah.
We'll put it above Spider-Man because we're not a Spider-Man
I like
podcast,
that. That's
right?
good.
Good reasoning. Good
That's
reasoning.
good.
Screw you, Spider-Man. You and your good comics consistently for like 100 issues.
Take that.
Oh, man. So
That's our new 147.
yeah, that's a good spot for it. All right, so who figured out how to cure my vampirism, or am I just gonna like be this immortal undead person for the rest of my till the heat death of the sun?
If I simply tell you, Adam, that if you just didn't want to be one anymore, like think really hard about it.
Like use the secret?
Yeah. Like, the cure to vampirism was the friends we made along the way.
Oh my goodness, it wasn't the vampire who came into my guest bedroom where I record this show and biting me in the neck?
No,
No, that was the cause. This
is the cure.
Charlie's saying.
I'm sorry, but this is like, that's the only thing I can think of because
Wow.
the only other things in my arsenal are not
Weapons?
so good. Yeah.
All right, well,
Charlie does swords now, so
Whoa.
like we all do. Charlie does swords, so those are normally pretty bad for vampires.
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say, I really like having like a noggin. You know what I mean?
I don't want to cut your head off, Adam. Like that's not what I'm aiming to do here. And you know, unlike some other vampire hunters that are in my guild, I know that you're actually good. So
Oh, thanks. I mean, I've just been eating
I'm on
guinea
the
pigs.
fence.
I mean, it's not like
yeah,
I'm
I won't
taking
tip
human
him.
life.
I won't tip him off. Actually, if you want me to send you like some, I got some like packs of blood we raided the place. I can get you those. Like
That'd be great. At least just, you know, like if I'm going cold turkey and like trying to wish this away,
Yeah.
you know, I could use a little help. You know, it's like Nicorette gum or something.
yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm sorry, Zach. You brought me here to help Adam. I think I've only enabled him.
I think you might have, but I'm gonna hope that by next week, this wishing this away will
Yeah.
work. But we'll have to see.
We'll go on it. We'll go with
Fangs
it.
crossed, guys.
You don't want to cross them. Vampires don't like that.
Don't cross those. I think. Do you need some like literature about like how to be a better vampire? Because I can get you those too.
Or like,
Is there a
or like
pamphlet?
some Invisaligns or something, because they should not be crossing at him. That shouldn't be a thing.
It was a figure of speech. Anyway, I'll
Whatever
see what I can do.
Whatever you do, don't end up at a place called the Bronze. That's not good either.
But there's such good indie music there.
We don't live in a time with music anymore. I don't know what
It's
you're
true.
talking about.
It's all on the internet. Oh boy. Well, Charlie, thank you for trying to help, and thank you for talking through some X-Force cable stuff with us. We appreciate it.
Of course. I'm sorry I couldn't cure your vampirism, but I think with the power of positivity, we can get through this.
All good things in time, right?
Yes.
Well, guys, before we want to thank HyperViper89 also for going to Patreon and supporting the show. One of the things that we're doing this month, I'm going to get a little more serious with you. The world's crazy right now. It's a lot. We've all been watching the protests that have been going on. Now, I'm going to timestamp this. We are recording this on June the 2nd of 2020. So as of right now, things have been rough out there, and it looks like it's only getting rougher. So we wanted to do what little we can to help out. So for this month, we are dedicating our Patreon dollars to the Advancement Project. It is a nonprofit that focuses on voting rights, reform for policing and criminalization, school to prison pipeline stuff, immigrant justice, a lot of things that directly impact the Black community, because I know that I have been devastated by seeing everything that's been going on, and I know that it's weighing on a lot of people. And what's happening is important, and we need to do whatever we can to support that. So we're going to be doing that to try and help out that community right now. Additionally, we're making a call to you guys, if you can support in your own way. We're going to have a link to that in the show notes to here. And as a special thank you for that, anyone who sends a send a copy of the receipt if you make a donation to the Advancement Project or any of the other bail funds or charities that are supporting the Black community right now. You send that of any dollar amount over to the Xavier Files Twitter account. Just shoot it into the DMs, and then we will send you over some pins that are Xavier Files Battle of the Atom stuff. Just as a little token of our appreciation, because we all really need to come together and support real world injustice that's happening right now to real world people who are being killed for just who they are disproportionately. So obviously everyone's thinking about that. Continue thinking about that, because what's going on is important. After that, Adam, where can people find you online?
Guys, you can always follow me on Twitter at Arthur Stacy. I just want to say very unambiguously that Black Lives Matter, and that this is nothing. What we're seeing right now is the culmination of something that has been building for centuries, and any little bit helps. So try and be as active in any way that you can that still preserves your own health and safety if you can, and support those who are out there doing the really hard work if you are not doing it yourself. And that's all I wanted to say about that. So Charlie, where can people find you online?
Normally, you can find me on Twitter at Genetic Ghost, and to echo what Adam says, obviously Black Lives Matter. And if you have it in you, go out there and fight the good fight. Do what you can when you can. Don't burn yourself out with it. But every little speck of support for the Black community is what you need to do, and what you can scrounge up. Other than me kind of not being on Twitter, you can still find me there. I'll return at some point in time. You can find my podcasts a podcast that I do all about wrestling stories, usually when things like this aren't happening, at Match Club Pod on Twitter. It's fairly new, but if you like stories and maybe think about liking wrestling, that's a really good place to start. Me and my partner Mikey go over some in-depth stories over there.
And Charlie and Mikey are both excellent, so you should go check that out. As for me, Xavier Files on Twitter, XavierFiles.com has comic book stuff if that's what you need right now. I mean, go for it. It's still there. Otherwise, that's what we got. Everyone's got a lot on their minds right now. So y'all take care of yourself. We always joke about surviving the experience at the end of this, but seriously, that's what's important right now, guys, is making sure that you are taken care of as everyone is putting their everything into helping our community and helping people get the friggin' justice they deserve. So that's what's going on. We're going to be here again next week, guys. But until then, this has been Battle of the Atom. Take care of yourself.
Get it!